The president's actual job approval, while it has seen a slight bump in the previous few days, his rating on dealing with the pandemic is higher, in part because of a rally around the president effect. You see some Democrats and a number of independents as well who have gravitated to saying, yes, I believe he's doing a good job.
This is sort of surprising to a lot of folks. One, because of how stable it's been over the course of his presidency. And two, because at least for a lot of people in the country, they're kind of looking at the administration and wondering if it's sort of not necessarily handling this very well. So people are kind of surprised by seeing his numbers go up. I think what's important context for this is what we're probably seeing is called a rally around the flag effect. Now, the biggest and best example of this is probably President Bush's approval ratings post 9/11. So what we saw in the direct days after 9/11 was that President Bush's approval ratings shot up to sort of like in the 90%. So that's a really high approval rating and a really big rally around the fact.
In many ways, those sorts of rally around the president impacts that we see, and you've seen it in other short-term cases over the course of his presidency, tend to regress back to the mean eventually, meaning that his job approval ultimately will likely regress back to that 43, 44, and the numbers on the coronavirus, like the economy, may remain high, but they're helping pull some of those numbers up a little bit right now.
So the important thing about a rally around the flag effect is that it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the actions that are being taken by the government at that time. It has a lot more to do with the American public's response to a crisis. They want to give leaders a little bit of leeway. They want to give them the benefit of the doubt in a time when the country is in crisis or there's an emergency happening. So at least right now, that's probably what we're seeing in the polls.
I think ultimately, though, we have predicated this entire campaign year on is the idea that Donald Trump requires a good economy to get reelected. And right now, that's been turned on its head. How he deals with this crisis in this moment is the most important thing. And all the polling reflects that voters want to see this crisis handled.
One of the things that we can take away from this, potentially, and we don't know how bad things are going to get in the US, and we don't know what Trump's approval ratings are going to look like in the coming weeks. But a big story of Trump's presidency has been the stability of his sort of approval rating and the stability of how people think about them. America right now is so polarized that even these big events like this might not move the needle as much as they did in the past, or as much as they are moving the needle in other countries right now.